Hi, welcome to my presentation about China's goals and how they will affect the world. In this presentation, I'm going to give a quick introduction, the primary goals that China have set forth for themselves, their primary goals explained a little bit more in depth, and an economic analysis of their global presence in innovation and their supply chain, along with their new presence in the nuclear field or industry. And then also a quick little summary. So let's get started. As you, of course, would know, there have been advancements in technology and travel. Even ever since the first basic radio and airplane, the world has just felt a little bit smaller every year that goes by. And in recent years, in the past 20 or 30 years, the advancements have just really sped up. And it's making the world definitely feel much smaller than ever before. And China's new economic aspirations and what implications they might have for the Western world and the whole world will probably shake the morning dew off a dung beetle. It's my little joke for this presentation. So here are the list of China's primary goals. The first one is urgency to strengthen self-sufficiency, a drive to lead in advanced industries, government funding, government-run projects, a new reactor that will produce plutonium, becoming a major nuclear power, and modernizing the delivery of nuclear weapons via a triad approach. So let's break this down here. The first goal that I wanted to talk about was the fact that China will be a new major nuclear power in this world. As you may know, the Cold War, which was from 1947 to 1991, was a lengthy kind of stalemate war between America and Russia. And it was a silent war in some ways because, well, not that much really ended up happening, but the threat of nuclear war, that was damaging to society, and even to this day, people who lived through that period of time can remember hiding underneath their desks and just the preparations in case that there was a nuclear attack. So, and that has definitely impacted our society for generations. Now, since China is going to start making their own plutonium with this new reactor, which you'll see here in the last topic on this list, that will definitely change who the United States, will have potential threats from. China does already have nuclear weapons. However, this new reactor that's going to produce plutonium is really going to change China and change the amount of nuclear weapons they're going to produce, since plutonium is used in nuclear weapons, of course. China's also going to focus on this triad approach, which basically they want to strengthen the mediums that they can deploy their nuclear weapons. The triad is the land, the air, and the sea, and these three natural resources will be used by China to help drive their military to be able to do whatever they wish to and have just more options for them. And of course, it's to be noted that China, they do have the largest military in the world as far as people go. Next, I want to talk about how China wants to be self-sufficient. Now, they have made goals in the past, specifically in 2015, where they wanted to produce 70% of the chips that are consumed domestically in China. Of course, China consumes a lot of chips because they make a lot of the products that use these chips. But unfortunately, that goal that was a part of their Made in China 2025 initiative, that goal was not reached. And the goal specifically was that they wanted to produce 70% of the chips that are consumed domestically by 2020, and even up until 2021, they are only at 16%. They're only producing 16% of the chips that are consumed domestically. So they're pretty far underneath where they need to be. The next topic is they wish to lead in advanced industries. So as of course everyone knows, China, they are a country that just mass produces products, and for a long time their specialty was producing lower end products, clothing, any kind of goods, household goods, nothing that takes skilled labor. It's all unskilled labor. China wants a higher profit margin. They want to produce things that take skilled labor and they can sell for higher amounts of money. And that's part one. And part two is they want to control these industries because they know that the entire world will absolutely need AI, semiconductor, pharmaceutical, 5G parts, any part of those industries. The whole world needs whatever China is producing for any of those things to function. And China wants to monopolize the production of any parts of semiconductors, AI, the chips, pharmaceuticals, and 5G. How they're planning on doing that is through government funding and government-run projects. China is budgeting an extra $8.9 billion in industrial and manufacturing industries. That is $8.9 billion on top of what they're already budgeting to meet their goal. They've also agreed to, or announced to, budget an extra 2 billion won in the science and technology industries. So they want to throw money into these industries to ignite some economic flame and to help any entrepreneurs in this industry to get these industries to grow and to produce more money. Next, of course, is the government-run projects. They will be increasing government-run projects, of course. And the reason is to help to lessen the choke points. Choke points being maybe there's not, even though they have money, maybe there's not enough money. Maybe there's not enough desire or entrepreneurial spirit in the marketplace. They want to create projects that they lead and they will hire people to complete. And of course, lastly is the reactor, which I touched on a little bit before. And like I said, it's going to produce plutonium, which is an extremely important part in making a nuclear A-bomb. Okay, so on to an economic analysis. So the first analysis that I put together was on China's nuclear presence. So, of course, China's building this huge reactor. It's going to supply some plutonium for nuclear weapons. And of course, it's strategically placed 135 miles from Taiwan. So between the fact of the location and what it will be producing, this is going to add a lot of potential to China's military and what they will be capable of. As far as opportunity costs go, well, of course, there's many. They could be using this money to put back into society to better the lives of society, infrastructure, even trying to minimize their carbon footprint, and maybe putting some extra money into their goals of being a leader in pharmaceuticals or semiconductors or AI. So the second analysis is on China's decisions and how they're going to affect their domestic innovation. China is creating the perfect breeding ground for innovation by supplying the market with government subsidies and projects. But maybe that won't help the innovative process of creating new products in the chip industry, along with all of the other industries that they want to lead in, all of the advanced industries that they described earlier. So here's a quick definition of entrepreneurship. Individuals who provide entrepreneurial ability to firms by setting strategy, advancing innovations, and bearing the financial risk if their firms do poorly. So entrepreneurs, they like the risk. They're in it to change the world. They take a lot of this upon themselves because it's a passion. They're passionate. The more freedom a market has, then the most relevant goods will be produced. In other words, China is creating this utopia for people to come and innovate. But even if you're creating something like that for people, making it too easy to enter a marketplace may backfire. And this idea is even something that President Biden has in his new economic plan. He wants to also put government subsidies towards the production of chips and have government projects. And it's something that could work and may not work for a multitude of reasons. The third analysis is on China's domestic supply chain of chips. So even after achieving their production goals, could China keep up with the demand domestically and in foreign markets? It's a good question. And they have been previously named number 2 in the world for the number of items exported. And that kind of shows that this isn't their first rodeo. But they must keep everything organized and be sure to meet the 4 flows of supply chain management, integration, operations, purchasing, and distribution. Next, here's a summary of this presentation. China, they face a lot of new challenges. And one could suggest that these are greater than they can handle. China has grown at extreme rates in recent years economically, but is a population to production ratio off? I think yes. They should be much more advanced than where they are. They have recently missed targets in 2015, and that trend may continue. Thanks so much for watching my presentation. Have a nice day.